Hey y'all, it's Sophia. If you're here, you probably know what it feels like when someone rips your heart out, stomps on it, then burns the pieces while laughing. 3 years ago, the man I loved, the one I put through grad school, the one I shared a checking account and a dog and a future with, he left me with $38, a mountain of debt, and an eviction notice. He said I was holding him back. Funny. Because today I own 16 coffee shops across Texas. My net worth has another zero every quarter, and that same man? He just got served foreclosure papers on the business he swore would make him a legend. This is the true story of how heartbreak turned into a seven-figure payback, and the moment I had to decide if revenge was worth losing the last piece of the girl I used to be. Grab something strong, because this one's gonna hurt before it feels good. Let's start at the very beginning, when I still believed love was enough. I was 26 when I met Ethan Caldwell at the little indie coffee shop on South Congress, where I pulled shots 6 days a week. Austin was smaller back then, or maybe it just felt that way because I still thought the world was kind. I grew up in a double-wide outside Bastrop. Single mom, waitress at the truck stop, always smelled like bacon grease and hard work. I put myself through community college slinging lattes and dreaming of owning my own place one day. Nothing crazy, just a little neighborhood spot with good beans, better playlist, and a porch where people could sit and feel like somebody gave a damn about them. Ethan walked in wearing a UT hoodie and the kind of smile that makes you forget you're on hour 9 of a double shift. He ordered a pour-over, stayed until close, and asked if he could take me to breakfast when I got off. I said yes before my brain caught up with my heart. He was charming in that dangerous, effortless way. Told me he was finishing his MBA, that he had this big idea for a third-wave coffee brand with a tech twist, cold brew on tap, an app for loyalty, subscription boxes, the whole thing. He talked like the future was already his. And I believed him. Within 6 months, I'd moved into the little blue bungalow he rented in Travis Heights. I kept working 60-hour weeks at the shop while he networked, which mostly looked like day drinking with investors on patios. I paid the rent, the groceries, the light bill, his tuition when financial aid fell short. I told myself it was temporary, that once his business launched, we'd be partners. That love meant betting on someone even when they weren't betting on themselves yet. I got good at making excuses for him. He's stressed. He's a visionary, they don't run on normal clocks. He'll pay me back when the seed round closes. I started helping him flesh out the concept at night after close. I knew coffee, knew farmers in Guatemala by first name, could dial in a shop blindfolded, understood how to make a space feel like home. Ethan had the pitch deck and the confidence. Together, we were magic. We named it Black Gold Brew Company. I designed the logo on a napkin at 2 a.m., a simple oil derrick silhouette made of coffee beans. He kissed me like I'd handed him the moon. We opened a joint checking account for the business. I dumped every extra penny I had into it, $42,000 I'd saved for my own shop one day. He said it was safer that way. Taxes, investors, all that. I trusted him. God, I trusted him. The cracks were there, if I'd looked. The late nights that smelled like someone else's perfume. The way he flinched when his phone buzzed. The password change on his laptop. But love makes you stupid. And I was so in love it hurt to breathe sometimes. The night it all blew up was a Thursday in late October. I'd worked at 12, came home early because the shop was slow. I was planning to surprise him, had a bottle of Prosecco and plane tickets to New Orleans for his birthday. I heard them before I saw them. Moaning coming from our bedroom. Our bed. I stood in that doorway holding that cheap bottle of bubbly and watched the girl he'd been mentoring ride him like I didn't exist. She was 22, blonde, daddy's money. The kind of pretty that doesn't have to try. He saw me. For 1 second his eyes met mine, and I swear something in them died. Then he smirked. Actually smirked. Guess the cat's out of the bag, sophomore. I don't remember dropping the bottle. I remember the shatter. Prosecco and glass everywhere, soaking into the hardwood I'd worked overtime to pay for. She had the decency to look mortified and scramble for a sheet. He just sat up, not even bothering to cover himself. I was going to tell you, he said. It's not working. You're comfortable. Safe. But I'm about to blow up and I can't have dead weight. Dead weight. That's what I was after 5 years, after every sacrifice dream, every overdraft fee I covered, every night I fell asleep alone while he networked. I asked the only question that mattered. What about the money? The joint account? He laughed. Actually laughed. That's business money now, babe. Investors don't like personal withdrawals. You'll get it back when we go public. He paused. Or, sue me. Good luck with that. I left that night with my tip jar, my dog pickles, and the clothes on my back. Slept in my 2009 Corolla in the Walmart parking lot off I-35. Cried so hard I threw up. 3 days later the bank called. The joint account? Drained. $87,000 gone. Transferred to a new LLC in his name only. He'd done it the week before. By Monday I had an eviction notice on the bungalow door. He'd stopped paying rent 2 months earlier, used the money for bottle service and brand activations. I was 29 years old, $38 to my name, and officially homeless. That was the night my world ended, and the night I decided his was about to. People always want to know what rock bottom feels like. It's not cinematic. There's no swelling music. It's fluorescent lights in a Super 8 off 183, the smell of old cigarettes and despair, and the sound of your own heartbeat when you realize nobody's coming to save you. I lived in that motel for 6 weeks. Paid $59 a night until the cash ran out, then started trading barista shifts for a room at the hostel downtown. Pickles slept on my chest every night like he knew I might not wake up if he didn't anchor me. The grief came in waves. Some days I couldn't get out of bed. I'd replay every moment, every time I handed him cash, every time I defended him to my mom, every time I chose him over me. I hated myself more than I hated him. Then the rage showed up. Hot, clean, useful. I printed every email, every transfer confirmation, every screenshot I'd saved, just in case. Took them to 3 different lawyers. All of them said the same thing. Texas is a no-fault state, honey. You gave him the money voluntarily. Good luck. One of them actually patted my hand. That was the moment something inside me snapped. Not broken, snapped into focus. I stopped crying in parking lots and started taking notes. Ethan had launched Black Gold with my logo, my sourcing contacts, my entire business plan. He'd already signed a lease on a fancy spot in the domain, had investors lined up, guys he'd met while I was pulling doubles. He was throwing a launch party in 3 weeks. I saw the invite on Instagram. Him in a $3,000 suit, arm around the blonde, caption, "Dreams don't work unless you do." I threw my phone across the room so hard the screen shattered. But here's the thing nobody tells you about hitting bottom. The ground is solid. You can push off it. I called my old boss, Marisol, at the South Congress shop. Asked if I could pick up every shift nobody wanted. She took one look at my face and handed me keys to the couch in the back office. I worked 90 hours a week. Slept 4 hours a night. Drank so much coffee my hands shook. Saved every dime. And I started planning. First thing I did was create a fake LinkedIn profile, Sophie Grant, hospitality consultant. New email, new headshot, thanks, Visco filters. I reached out to every investor Ethan had ever name-dropped. Congratulated them on the upcoming launch. Asked innocent questions. They all answered. Men love talking about money. Within 2 weeks I knew exactly how much he'd raised, $1.4 million, who still hadn't wired their final tranche, and most importantly, that Ethan had been creative with numbers. Promised equity he didn't have. Double-counted pre-orders. The kind of lies that work great until somebody checks. I printed everything. Kept it in a folder labeled insurance. Then I did the hardest thing I'd ever done. I looked in the mirror and forgave the girl who trusted him. Not for his sake, for mine. Because hate is a hell of a fuel, but it burns dirty. I needed to be cold to do what came next. 6 weeks after he threw me out, I had $11,000 cash, a second-hand MacBook, and a plan that made my palms sweat just thinking about it. I was still broke. I was still heartbroken. But I wasn't his victim anymore. I was his reckoning. That night I sat on the back patio of the shop after close, city lights flickering, pickles asleep on my feet, and I opened a new doc on my laptop. At the top, I typed 3 words. Operation Black Gold. Then I started writing the business plan that would bury him. Revenge isn't loud. It's quiet. It's spreadsheets at 3 a.m. It's smiling when you want to scream. It's becoming the kind of woman he never thought you could be. Step 1 was disappearing. I cut my hair, long blonde to a sharp auburn bob. Got glasses I didn't need. Started going by Soph instead of Sophia. New Instagram, private, 0 mutuals. I became a ghost in my own city. Step 2 was money. I entered every pitch competition in Texas. Told my real story, no names, just I lost everything to someone I trusted. Now I'm rebuilding. Judges ate it up. Won $25,000 from a women's entrepreneurship grant in San Antonio. Used it to file an LLC. Phoenix Roast Collective. The name was for me, not them. Step 3 was the knife twist. Ethan's investors were nervous. His launch was splashy, but sales were soft. Turns out when your whole brand is genius white guy revolutionizes coffee, people notice you don't actually know coffee. I started reaching out. Same fake LinkedIn, new pitch. Hi, I consult for high-growth beverage brands. Noticed Black Gold is burning cash fast. Happy to share a turnaround plan, no fee, just love the space. 3 of them bit. I sent decks showing exactly where Ethan was bleeding money. Suggested friendly amendments to their investment agreements, clauses that let them pull funding if certain milestones weren't hit. They all signed. Then I did something I'm still not proud of. I created a fake customer review account. 1 star. Owner hit on me while I waited for a latte. Posted from a VPN. Watched it spread on Reddit. Watched mom groups share it. Watched reservations drop. Petty? Yes. Effective? God, yes. Meanwhile, I was building. Found a tiny 800 square foot spot in East Austin going for cheap because the block was rough. Signed the lease with my grant money and every credit card I could still get approved for. Painted the walls myself, deep green, gold accents. Called it Phoenix 1. I sourced beans direct from the co-op in Guatemala I'd connected Ethan with years ago. They remembered me. Gave me 60-day terms when no bank would. Opening day, I had $400 in the register and pure terror in my chest. We did $2,400 in sales. People waited 45 minutes for a latte because the vibe was right and the coffee was perfect. Word spread. By month 4, I had lines out the door and a wait list for investors who actually listened to women. That's when Ethan noticed. I was at the farmer's market picking up pastries when I saw him across the aisle. He'd lost weight. Looked tired. Black gold t-shirt that used to fit now hung loose. Our eyes locked. For 1 second I thought he'd pretend not to see me. Then he smiled, that same cocky grin, and walked over. Sophia. Wow. You look different. I smiled back. Sweet as pecan pie. Hey, stranger. Congrats on the launch. Heard it's going great. Something flickered across his face. Suspicion, maybe. Yeah, well. Growing pains. You working somewhere new? Just a little project, I said. Nothing serious. He nodded slow. Cool. See you around. He walked away, and I stood there shaking, not from fear, from power. Because in that moment he still thought he was the predator, and I was the prey. He had no idea the prey had built a bigger trap. That night one of his investors called me, same guy who'd gotten my turnaround plan. Asked if Phoenix Roast was looking for capital. I told him I'd think about it. Then I opened my laptop and added a new tab to the spreadsheet titled Phase 2, Acquisition. They say revenge is a dish best served cold. Mine was served at exactly 61 degrees, perfect cold brew temperature. Phoenix grew fast. Too fast for banks to keep up, which was perfect. I funded everything through small investors who believed in the mission. Women, Latinos, queer folks, people the industry had ignored. We opened 3 more locations in 18 months. Every new shop I painted one wall burnt orange with a phoenix rising. Black gold started bleeding. Ethan expanded too quick. 3 stores, fancy build-outs, staff he couldn't afford. The reviews kept coming. More 1 stars. More whispers. I never posted again after that first one.
Didn't have to.
People fill silence with their worst fears. His lead investor, the one who'd signed my amended agreement, pulled the final $400,000 tranche in month 19. Cited missed milestones. Ethan called me drunk at 2 a.m. the night it happened. I let it ring twice, then answered sweet as Sunday morning. Soph, that you? What's up? A long pause. I could hear bar sounds in the background. I'm in trouble. Like bad. Investors bailed. Rent's 3 months late on the domain store. I might lose everything. His voice cracked on everything. I waited. Let the silence do the work. I was wrong, he whispered. About all of it.
I'm so sorry.
I never should have. Ethan, I cut in gentle. It's late. Get some sleep. I hung up. The next week I started poaching. His best barista, Diego, who I'd trained years ago, walked into Phoenix 3 asking for a job. I hired him at double pay and made him manager. Then his roast supplier. Then his graphic designer. One by one, the people he'd treated like stepping stones came home. Every time someone new joined the team, I sent Ethan a handwritten card on Phoenix stationery. Thanks for the recommendation. Never signed my name. He stopped responding after the 5th one. By year 2, Phoenix had 8 locations and a cult following. Black Gold was down to 1 store, the original, and drowning in debt. That's when I made my move. I formed a shell company, BG Holdings LLC. Same initials. Ironic. Through a lawyer friend, I offered to buy Black Gold's remaining assets. Debt assumption, pennies on the dollar. Told them the owner wanted anonymity. Ethan signed. Had no choice. Foreclosure was 30 days out. The day the papers went through, I walked into his last store wearing a blazer and the kind of smile that doesn't reach the eyes. He was behind the bar, apron stained, hair longer, face hollow. When he saw me, the rag fell out of his hand. Surprise, I said. The place was empty. I'd scheduled the visit during the dead hour. You, his voice cracked. This whole time. I nodded. Slid the sale agreement across the counter. You're the one who bought me out? Technically BG Holdings did.
But yeah.
That's me. He stared at the paper like it might bite him. All the reviews, he whispered. The investors pulling out. The staff leaving. That was you. Some of it, I admitted. The rest you did yourself. He looked up, eyes red. I deserve this. Yeah, I said. You do. Silence stretched between us, thick as espresso. Then he asked the question I'd been waiting for. Is there any way I could work here? Just barista. I'll take minimum wage. I got nowhere else, sophomore. I let him stand there. Let him feel every second of it. Then I leaned in close. You taught me love isn't enough, I said. Remember that? Well, here's your lesson. Neither is sorry. I turned to leave. At the door I paused. Oh, and Ethan? We're rebranding this location. New name goes up tomorrow. He looked like he might be sick. What is it? Second Chance Coffee, I said. Because some people get one. You don't. I walked out. That night I sat on my balcony overlooking Zilker Park, bought the condo cash, and cried for the first time in 2 years. Not for him. For the girl who used to believe people were good. The Texas Coffee Festival happens every February at the Palmer Event Center. Thousands of people, hundreds of vendors. One big industry circle jerk. I bought the naming rights that year. Phoenix Roast Stage. My logo everywhere. Ethan showed up anyway. I saw him before he saw me. Standing near the cold brew booth in a too-big blazer, resume folded in his hand like a white flag. When our eyes met across the crowd, something passed between us. Not hate anymore. Just exhaustion. He walked over.
Hey, he said.
Hey. We stood there while people flowed around us. I just wanted to say it to your face, he started. I was a piece of shit. I destroyed the best thing that ever happened to me because I thought I was destined for more. I'm not. I'm just this. He gestured at himself. I don't expect forgiveness. I just needed you to hear it from me. Not drunk dialing at 2 a.m. I studied him. Really looked. He'd aged 10 years in 3. I hear you. I said finally. He nodded, started to walk away.
Ethan.
He turned. I forgave you a long time ago, I said. Not for you. For me. Holding on to that hate was turning me into someone I didn't recognize. I won the war, but I was losing myself. His eyes filled. Thank you, he whispered. Then he disappeared into the crowd. I thought that would be the end. It wasn't. 6 months later, I got a letter. No return address. Inside was a single photograph, the napkin from that night years ago. The original black gold logo I'd drawn. On the back, in his handwriting, you were always the real Empire. I'm sorry I made you prove it the hard way. I sat on my kitchen floor and bawled like a baby, because revenge gave me everything I thought I wanted, and forgiveness gave me the only thing that mattered. I still own 16 shops. Still expanding. But now there's a foundation. Phoenix Rising Fund. We give grants to women starting over after financial abuse. Last year, we helped 42 of them open their own places. And every location has a little plaque by the door. From ashes, empires ignite. Some nights I walk into the original Phoenix, one after close, stand behind the bar where I once served him, and I talk to that girl I used to be. I tell her she's enough. That love isn't supposed to cost you yourself. That sometimes the person who breaks you is the one who forces you to become unbreakable. I won. But victory looks different than I thought it would. It looks like peace. It looks like a dog snoring on a couch that's actually mine. It looks like waking up without that knot in my chest. Ethan lives in San Marcos now, I heard. Works at a hardware store. Seems a lighter.
Good.
Because the sweetest revenge isn't destroying someone. It's becoming so whole they can never hurt you again. So if you're watching this and you're in that Super 8 motel right now, crying over someone who chose themselves over you, listen to me. You are not the ending they wrote for you. You are the fire they'll never put out. From the ashes of betrayal, empires ignite. And honey, yours is coming.